Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Masters Pharah. This is an OD match I've been told, and I believe it was about a 3.7 game level. So if you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. So I will be curious, are we doing a double bubble comp with Pharah Tracer? That works, that works. And we're playing it into a double bubble with Tracer Echo, and the other variant is going to be that they're running the Brig, which is a little more standard, you could say, instead of the Mercy. So just because this is organized play, I will actually cover that briefly. Double bubble is just referring to the Zarya Winston tank line. And, obviously the Zarya hits the Winston with the bubble so we can sustain a bit longer. That's fine. You keep at least one poke element. In this case, we have Pharah and Echo on each team, and they can get some real poke work done. You have these soft sort of dives happening where you go, hey, the Winston goes in, gets the Zarya bubble, has their own bubble, gets a lot of poke work done, applies some real pressure, but your team frequently isn't going to hard commit on it. At least your backline isn't, unless they're staged really close. Because your Zarya, for example, can't contribute with very much besides the projected bubble and the right clicks unless your team staged very closely and can then try to run it over without speed, which is tough. But your Tracer can go in. You've got the poke damage. Again, we've done Tracer on both sides. Sometimes you see Sombra in this slot instead, and that's perfectly fine. It gives you a better ult bank. Sometimes you see Sombra Tracer as the combination. The rally obviously exists, and that's really scary and really good. That's like a fight winner, and since these comps tend to be so ult based, that is quite nice. And the Brig is able to support the Echo with repair packs, whereas our Pharah over here is going to be supported harder by the Mercy than the Echo is supported by the Brig, but Valk is a meaningfully worse ult than Rally. So these guys are playing for the better ult game. These guys are trying to play for a better neutral. The comps in general, Double Bubble, lean towards a ult win condition, especially when playing into non-double bubble comps, but we'll see how it goes here. And we have our Pharah player. I'm curious to see what happens.
I am empowered.
Okay, are we keeping our Mercy? If we're not keeping our Mercy, I'm scared. Why are we not keeping our Mercy? We're having our Mercy back with our Ana. Okay. I don't love that. I understand. I just don't think we want our Ana. Our Ana can literally be playing from spawn right now with where blue is staged. I mean, we didn't even acquire our target in time, so that went very wrong. But again, it's kind of just a strategy thing where it's like, here we are. Do we know where the Echo is? Did they hide the Echo, or did she just slip past? She just slipped past when we looked away. Okay, so that's unfortunate. You're eliminated at this point. But again, if you're not dedicating your Mercy to, like, if you're spending your Mercy to protect your Ana, you shouldn't be running Mercy. You should be running Brig. That's like, if that's your long-term plan, that's what you guys need to do here. I'd have preferred your Ana just play back.
Rapport systems online.
Fine. Your Pharah does not need to be the one to break this choke open. Okay, there's our Mercy.
I will not waste this opportunity.
I don't really need you playing right here. Okay, this is better. You have to do work like that, otherwise you're gonna... Okay, good. Reasonably well executed dive. You float up here. I don't think you needed 3 shots there. A shot to check it was fine, but whatever.
I am empowered.
Okay. It's fine. Keep punishing that. Okay. Yeah, so you see this Echo's in play. I'm now much less worried about this Winston, much more worried about this Echo. You hear the Echo. I don't care about the Winston anymore. The Winston is not a threat. The Winston is not a threat. You have to protect yourself against the Echo.
That's how it's done.
Double kill.
Mm-hmm.
My ultimate is
Clearing the area.
My ultimate is charging.
Okay, so when we think about how this works, like we look at this and we have the better poke. It's weird, but we have the better poke because we have the mercy, whereas they have the brig. So we want these situations, and we also have the worse ult game than them. So we want to keep this in poke phase as long as we can. We want to go, hey, we're going to poke at you. We're not going to let you get in. We're going to poke at your staging people when they try to come in, be that your Winston, your Echo, your Tracer. Like, we're going to be applying our pressure to keep them out rather than to let them dive. But let's see what you do here. Fine, easy cleanup.
Justice reigns
Why?
from above.
Why would you do this? She'd given up. Ugh. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand you feel like Barrage is a feed ult, but you can get better barrages with this. And it's okay for Barrage to be a feed ult. If you go up, I just traded my life out for 3 people. Who cares if you go down? This was not the play, even remotely.
I am a fire.
You'd have gone those to a limb regardless. You get to spam this. Take your shot, pivot back left, pivot back left. Good.
Where does it hurt?
Right idea. Reload. Good. Okay, you want to apply the pressure to the Winston just because he is low. You went for shift rather than E. Okay. I'd have probably said go for E, but that's fine.
Securing the payload.
And you're going for the supports. The supports have line of sight. They have line of sight on you. I'd actually prefer that you fight the tanks here. I know the support is scarier to you. Like, I do understand that. And throwing a rocket at her to try to keep her honest is fine. But when we think about how this works, we would really just be like, hey, you guys did... The Winston did drop, actually. Okay, that changes things. You can throw a rocket at her before you pivot to Diva. I was thinking the Winston was still up here. Fine. It's there. Take it. Deanna. You're just accepting that you're going to trade Deanna out every time with how you're playing. Fine.
Tango down.
Why? I'm good with that. I'm fine with this too.
Tango down.
Okay. Yeah. Why? Like, are you worried about that brick? Why are you E-ing here rather than shifting? Is it because your shift is going to get capped? Like, who cares that your shift is going to get capped? I'm surprised that this is an E rather than a shift.
Get back. Adaptive circuit. Justice reigns from above.
Fine. That was a better, what do you call it? A better, words are hard, ult. Missile brush.
I am empowered.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you don't get more mercy attention in this. I'm surprised that your team isn't giving you more mercy attention in general.
Winston reigns from above.
That happens. You need to challenge the Echo. Like, you need to. It sucks, but you have to.
I am empowered.
That's just the matchup.
Look out, world! I'm on a rampage.
This is not the end. I'm not done yet.
Enemies detected.
Okay. This has been pretty one-sided so far, but let's keep going.
Clearing the area.
Alright. Like, as a team, you guys are not distributing resources correctly. With how much attention your Mercy spends to your Ana. Like, I thought you guys had just accepted that you were trading your Ana to try to do work, and you were consistently making that sort of work. But with how much attention your Mercy is spending on your Ana, you guys are better off just running Brig. Like, okay, Brig throws armor packs at you sometimes and then makes your Ana much safer. Like, that's what you do here, but whatever.
I am empowered.
You shouldn't have been here. You should have saw the Kree swap. So you're here. You're doing work from here. You're doing work from here on a corner. You can see the Kree swap immediately. Pepper the Diva. It's fine, but drift back left. There's your aerial cover. You saw the McCree already. Why are you here? Why are you here? This doesn't work. You just forced your own E. Like, you forced your own E for an attempt to make one rocket shot hit on that McCree. That was not right. You were plenty powerful enough over here. Look at all the cart distance that you get if you don't let them push in. You don't need to push in further to get more aggressive here. You just need to control the space that you already have with your aerial high ground here and pressure this doorway, Pressure any that try to come in. You don't need to go up here, take the McCree shot, risk taking the second McCree shot in exchange for doing one rocket and then having to E back here. Like, again, they're going to try to push into you because they do not want the cart to get from here to here for free and only get one fight on second. If they let you get the cart from here to here while you're just enforcing this high ground, they're going to be very unhappy and you will take that. That's totally fine with you. That's better than taking risks up here, taking risks that have real chances of not paying off and going the other way, and then letting them actually stop the cart here or here and getting two fights on second. Plus, there's tons of work you can do from here. Like, hey, there's things over here you can shoot at.
Damn.
Plenty of work you get to do. Where did you lose your Zarya? One more. Zarya, where you at, buddy? Why is your Zarya in there? Huh. Did your Zarya get baited into pushing when you all pushed, or was this just Trace is in there with him? Zarya's trying to get the control of this high ground. Yeah, like if you guys were on last fight territory, you'd try to get control of this high ground. It would be great if you could get Shazari up here. You guys hadn't earned this yet, though. You guys were all of the belief that you had won harder than you did, and you could earn this forward high ground, you could earn this hold, and that was really going to be hard. Your cart is back here at this point, and your mercy is still back here at this point, too. So this isn't really the push yet. You just have to accept, hey, okay, I'll set my Zarya up here for this high ground control. This is where you guys could play around, and you were playing around this box and going, hey, we're here. Our Zarya can lob stuff past this. You can throw stuff into the doorways. You can enforce down here as well. But you were using this cover and this high ground. Until you get the cart up to here, That's what you're doing. And they're not going to be able to stop you from getting the card up to here without pushing into your zone of destroying them. So this was just too aggressive on your part. You guys hadn't earned this space yet.
I am empowered.
Hmm. Yeah.
Move back.
Hmm. This is unfortunate. This is a 3-rocket reload that you didn't have to hit, and it was very obvious that your Zarya and Tracer were in trouble over here, and you should have just been peppering this once you got here. This should have been totally peppered with rockets down the doorway instead of this reload here. Now you're doing, but no. Why are you doing this angle? Because you've got to be kidding me. There's no way. Jeez. This isn't a mercy review, but that hurts. That hurts. Okay, just leave. You're done. If you still had your mercy, what you'd have done is you'd have rotated over here, and you've been working with this angle and using this aerial cover while your team continued to threaten from this direction. But now this is over because that was a feed. Maybe your mercy just didn't see and only saw the Zen here, didn't realize there were 2 more people up here, but that was painful.
Get back. Die people.
I'm not sure I'd have surrendered that space. Yeah, you were missing health, but...
Clearing the area.
Oh boy.
Heroes never die. Nerf this.
You have no cooldowns. That was a result of where you went. Here you are. You have their McCree down, so you feel like you can just go in. And that's not really true. You've used both cooldowns to go in here. And why did you use both cooldowns to go in here?
Clearing the area.
Yeah, you don't necessarily want to use both in like that. Now you have no movement and you're just hanging in the air. Yes, the McCree is eliminated, but and I understand you wanted to go in hard with your E. You wanted the this way movement, but we also wanted some vertical movement. And instead of using your shift for your vertical movement, I'd have preferred that you just used a rocket jump for your vertical movement. You have traditionally at least had a Pharah here, a Mercy here, and your Mercy is about to show up. Yeah, okay, your Mercy wasn't here yet. My preference would have been rocket jumping in, but your Mercy wasn't here yet, so maybe you didn't want to spend the health.
Heroes never.
There's that.
Healing stream engaged.
Okay, please drift left. Please drift left where you have aerial cover options. Left. Nope, you're drifting back into the open, and you're drifting back into the open after the self-destruct has been thrown. This is double wrong.
Take cover.
If you drifted left harder, you'd have been right here, and that E would have had a better chance, but whatever.
Hello. We need to keep the payload moving forward.
Top left. Good. Check to your right. Why haven't you checked to your right? This is a very common place for people to be, and you didn't even take a look over here. Like, they fully wiped you. You were the first person back out, which meant they can set up whatever sort of staging they want, and you didn't even look to see if there was anyone over here. That's not cool. I know that what you want is over here. I would have liked you to go over here much ages ago. This is a very good place to attack from. But you didn't even look over there to see if there was something you needed to worry about. Now, they were hidden, so you wouldn't necessarily have seen it, but you still should have looked. This is early. Your team is back here, and you're choosing to give away that you're here now? Like, this is going to help your team rotate, but I don't think you want to help your team rotate. I think you want to do work once your team, you want to have the better chance of getting an elimination once your team is in a little more, once your team is actually a threat, actually able to fight, actually able to jump. Like, what this is doing is going, I'm going to soften these guys up a little to make them look at me, to make maybe Diva Boost, to make McCree look this way so that my team can walk up faster. I don't think you need that. I think your team can get in with less help than that. And I also think your team, so I know that your team sort of wants to take a little pressure as they rotate in because, again, Zarya needs some energy. Like, Zarya just got reset, so you don't want to be making their rotation easier necessarily until your Zarya has some energy to work with. They need shots to be coming in on them. Leave. Why are you repicking this? You're discorded and now the diva is close to you. I am scared for your life. Good. Where's the fight happening? Do you know? Fight's happening back here? Meaning these guys' contribution really isn't happening? Then you don't want to be going back this way. You want to be helping Peel. You want to be going, I'm going to chuck rockets at that ball, at that tracer. You need to know where the fight's happening because these guys are not contributing from back here. They're not. So you don't provide value by going, I'm going to distract them. You distracting them is worthless. It's just giving them a chance to 4v1 or 4v2 you. Now 4v1 because your Mercy has realized that things are going on over here. Again, this would be fine if your team was fighting up here. But your team is fighting over here. You need to have that awareness of where the fight's actually happening. Oh boy.
Greetings. I will not waste this opportunity. My ult is ready.
Okay.
Justice reigns from above.
Okay. What's your Mercy up to, though? Just over here with your Ana again. Okay.
Pass into the
Fine.
iris.
Now you leave.
Fire will.
Okay, please look up. Did you know that no one could be shooting at you while you're shooting at that? Like, Pharah has Diva has a mandatory demech animation, and you have time to look away and look back during that. There's a timing that you're going to hit her with, and you know it, to hit the top of the mech with the rocket so that Diva takes a rocket of damage as she demechs, which makes her much faster to eliminate. Don't get me wrong. I still want you to do that, but I wanted a quick look up here of, is there anyone peeking that you need to be aware of as you're just hanging in the air without moving, looking down at this thing.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Coming through.
Clearing the area.
You have your Mercy.
Barrier out.
Fine. You check right this time. Good.
It's quiet.
It's hand.
Nice.
Never dies.
Destination.
Good. Okay, you do use the last shot. Yeah, force the fade. Good.
Operating at maximum efficiency.
Check the diva. Okay. I'll live with that.
My team needs me. Hello. Healing streak engaged.
My ultimate is charging.
seconds remaining.
Team is back here. You're doing this. You're doing this, which totally tells them that you're here, which, you know, okay, that's fine. Um, I'd honestly prefer that you were contributing to this fight. Contributing to this fight from here would be my preference. This is okay, but I'd prefer this after your team is more in this space, not when your team is mostly back in this space. Yes, contributing over here is potentially stopping these guys, D.Va, from contributing to this fight, but I would prefer that you contribute to this fight. Fine. Keeping them zoned, that's actually a very good outcome. Yeah, that worked out better than it should have.
Thanks for the assist.
Why are you over here? Hit your reload, you got your mercy. You can take shots at Tracer from here, that's fine. Tracer ball,
Thanks
whatever.
for the assist.
Why do you need to get closer? Why is there any need for you to get closer and out in the open like this? Why? You were perfectly valid from here, and you had the better option to transition back to this angle. Now, if you turn to fight this, you're fighting from your only angle difference is you're above your team. This was a much more extreme angle that was better, while still keeping your mercy safe, which is like your dream angle as a Pharah. It's like, hey, my mercy can do all of her work from back here and be in basically zero danger, and I still get her benefits, while I have a high ground extreme off angle from my team that is actually pretty safe. You have no aerial cover. It disturbs me.
It's draw.
Yeah, you what? Does your team not call pull when he's pulled it? Like, well, you okay? I mean, you uncrouched into his high noon there.
Push forward.
Clear in the area.
Ducks, get this moving.
Step.
Oh boy,
Quite
can you guys do it?
Justice reigns from above.
Do you have a bubble? No. So you just did this. Okay, let's go back to our Pharah here. You're here.
Get back.
Your high noon is going off. Do you know where they are? Like, they've constantly been playing to come out of this tunnel right here. So do you know that that's where they are? If so, I'd expect this to be a coordinated play with your Pharah, or with your Zarya. But your Zarya may have already used bubble on McCree.
Wait.
Okay, and you have no cooldowns because this is how you got here. So again, we look at this.
10 seconds remaining.
Get back.
If this was the play, and I assume this was a called play, that your McCree was going to high noon from here, you're now threatening the same angle as that high noon. This isn't what I want. I want you over here. Now you threaten a different angle than the high noon. You see how that works? The high noon comes from here. You come from over here. You going like this is the same angle. I guess you going like this is a different angle while your McCree goes like this, but you don't have the protection to justify that. You don't have a D.Va. Your Zarya's already spent bubble here. When you ultimately do it, your Zarya's going to be under. I don't really like that you even rotated in this way in the first place based on where the fight is actually happening. This doesn't make a ton of sense.
Step.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
Justice.
And I think you just go, this is the only chance. Can I trade? Get one. Not great.
Heroes never die.
Doom Fist! That was not a very accurate punch.
What they say.
Okay, so you got the finish, and that's good. But remember, I'm basically going to rework your third point. When your team is here or here, going here is fine, but the place that you're threatening is primarily over here. If your team really needs help to rotate through here, yes, you can threaten here. That's okay. If your team just got reset though and doesn't have energy because, Zarya bubbles and all that, your team is probably going to want to take a little damage on their Zarya, on their Winston to get energy, and that's fine. And you don't need to go, hey, I'm going to pull attention, because A, they want that energy, and B, especially the first time, once you go here, they're going to remember that this is a place that you play from, and they're going to pay more attention to this, and you're less likely to get a elimination from here and more likely to just be a distraction, a nuisance, something that they have to pay attention to, have to dedicate resources to. You are totally fine being something that they are annoyed by, a nuisance that they have to dedicate resources to, once your team is here. So once your team gets to here, I want you going, you should have already cleared this angle. You should have already won this by the time your team gets to here. So then it's I play to get this once my team is here. And then we're threatening two extreme different angles. You can lob on the bridge. You can lob stuff down over here. Once your team pushes up more, yeah, your angle's going to get worse because you're actually going to join them over here. That's fine. Do remember that you probably don't want to be in the middle of the bridge where both doors can see you. That McCree got you because you were here. You want to be a little more extreme to one side or the other, at least until you've won more cleanly. But that's the biggest adjustment I am going to make so far. You have some stuff where you do this double cooldown to get in stuff, and I can live with that, but please don't double cooldown to end in the open unless it really is part of a coordinated dive where the whole team really is going in on a target. Because you just did this stuff and ended up here floating in the middle of the air, and it's like, oh, I can do this because the McCree's gone. Please don't. And also, remember, we have the ability to rocket jump. It's not as good as our shift, but it can save our shift, which we might want in some of these situations, especially when we have our mercy. So far, that's the major things I'm going to comment on. But let's now move on to round two.
Round one complete.
Can I have a mouse? Good.
Attackers incoming in 30
I
seconds.
am empowered.
Ready.
Okay, so understanding when when to threaten where with which angle based on where your team is, and we'll call it better use of aerial cover, or where we are currently.
3,
Hi there.
2, 1.
Hey,
Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Okay. You don't care about shooting there anymore. They're gone. You want to shoot here, exactly.
Enemy contact.
Nice. Why are you this far out in the open? I know the McCree's down and you're thinking that gives you freedom, but there's just not a good enough reason to not be closer to the cover here. You're Pharah, you move slow.
I will not waste this opportunity.
No, I don't want you threatening here. Your team is fine threatening this by themselves. Your team, mercy boosted, whatever, Zarya, this is fine. Okay, maybe it's mercy boosted you, but they'll be fine in here. You can go, hey, I'll continue to threaten this. Yes, I know your Ashe is threatening it, but you could pop up here and lob on this tracer that is throwing the point. You did not need to help them in there. It's not the end of the world that you lob a rocket or two down here to go, hey, I don't want this to be close, but please leave quickly. No, you are just going to stay in the tunnel.
this will protect us.
You should be at peak performance levels.
This was something that you could have prevented. Good.
My ultimate is charging.
I am empowered.
Okay. There's probably a target coming around right behind that Winston. We can lob rockets. Lob rockets. That's fine. I don't mind you trading out on their tanks here. You do have to be aware of this Echo again, though. That equation is back in play. Fine. You're just going to swap to the Winston. Good.
Curse of the dead.
You have your E, but okay. I don't like this. This makes me uncomfortable. Your Zarya's back here. Your Winston is back in spawn. Your Ashe is here. I don't like you trying to be this spearhead. Like, if you just think about your relative spot, it's too easy for them all to jump you here. And you have your E to get out, but I don't particularly like this. The Echo here, the Winston able to jump from here, the Diva able to jump from here, the Ana able to walk up here. Like, this is really too aggressive. You want to be, at this point, unfortunately, a little bit more passive with your positioning. You're down your tank. You still want to enforce it, make it hard for them to come in. And yes, blue box is incredibly valuable, and I like trying to defend it, but you can't really hold this anymore if your tanks aren't holding it with you, which Zarya isn't really in a position to do anymore, or, you have tanks up here holding. Like, blue box is really powerful, yes, but you're not in a situation where I want you holding this anymore. It's too easy to overrun you. I would rather you surrender a little bit of space, still not let them have blue box, because you can enforce blue box from here with rockets here, rockets here, rockets here, rockets here. Like, Echo can't take blue box, can't take the side of blue box that actually matters if you're enforcing it from here well enough. And then once you have your Winston, you guys can push back in and take it for realsies. Okay. Not intentional, but my other option was to do a Mercy or an Ana review, and I felt like we've done a lot of Ana reviews lately, and we've done a Mercy review pretty recently too. So I went, okay, what do I have in the DPS bag? And Pharah seemed interesting, but yes, it did mean watch point again. Okay. Are we gonna fight that Echo or no? No. Oh, you lost your Mercy there. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's dicey. Chunk the tick safely.
Clearing the area.
Going back to get your Mercy.
Health restored. Heilstrahl aktiviert.
The payload
Unfortunate.
I am empowered.
You don't have aerial cover here. This is scary.
Clearing the area.
So obviously the adjustment, and we didn't talk about this, is a couple adjustments have happened to blue team here. They swapped to Diva ages ago, and they've got Mercy instead of Brig now. So they're using that for the offense, whereas we've kept the Mercy for the defense here, which is fine, but it does make the duels with the Echo basically impossible. So he's stuck in a chunk tanks mode. Like, he's gonna have to defend himself when the Echo really gets on him, but he's mostly stuck in a try to avoid the fight and chunk tanks mode, because that's the only place he can hope to keep up with Echo. Echo is much more precise than Pharah in the actual aerial duels, and now that they have the same support supporting each of them, he's really stuck in a, okay, I'm gonna try to outpoke your team by out damage pressuring your tanks to let us win there. If the fight goes on too long and he can't avoid the Echo long enough, he's going to get into trouble and lose. But that's okay. Because hopefully he's going to chunk their tanks harder than Echo can chunk him or his tanks. Or if Echo's chunking him, it not matter because Echo isn't getting the finish, and they both have Mercy pockets. And that then leads to his team winning the ground battle, we'll call it. It's a tough matchup. Because while Pharah's a little better at chunking tanks than Echo, Echo's not bad at chunking tanks. That said, Echo's probably going to go after him. But again, Echo has better aerial movement than Pharah does, and more precision with her shots.
Back.
Okay. Did you need that? Why do you feel the need to leave here? I'm not sure I see a need to leave here yet. So I'm not sure I'm good with that E.
Adaptive circuit. Winston.
Heroes never die. Justice reigns from above. Get in there, fellas. I'm back. Thanks for the assist.
Nice.
Nice shot.
You forced out the tracer, good.
I'm on fire.
Okay, let's see what you're gonna hold now that you guys have defensive options.
Hello.
Spaceship, fine. It should be very hard for blue team to re-enter.
I use power.
Okay, you have your mercy now. You're gonna try to chunk tanks rather than fight the Echo, good. No E available. Okay, that's a good place to be healing you from. This Echo's now too close for you to ignore. Did you ignore her too long? This is fine. No, but after this reload, you immediately need to swap to Echo. Yeah, you need to swap to Echo. She's too close now. Your job is to chunk tanks, don't get me wrong, and to avoid the fight with Echo, but she's able to force it. If she gets this close, you do have to take the fight with Echo. Just a little slow to transition. Not just a little slow, like, obviously you were behind in that fight because they opened with self-destruct and you used your abilities in response to it, but you did need to convert faster there to have a better chance in terms of your target selection. Not so much faster, not like a full rocket faster, you literally just needed to turn faster. It's fine, punish the support line. Good. You guys are running McCrees at each other now instead of tracers. Okay. I'm not really convinced that's better. It makes cart manipulation a bit of a pain. You're going to E out. You're going to look for ground targets to chunk. Okay.
Winston.
I will not waste this opportunity.
Second shot was never going to happen. One rocket too many. Or a third shot, I suppose it was, but you were never going to get the second hit after the first hit, which was the second shot.
Justice reigns from above.
Like, okay, but you know better. So here you are.
Justice reigns from above.
Most of us would have done the fire the single rocket convert to justice and whatever. Whatever. You used justice, you got an elim that you would have gotten anyway, and you didn't get eliminated yourself. We'll accept it.
Justice reigns from above.
Circle for the mini. Circle for the mini. Nope, you're going for that. And you're immediately going to get out of here, right? Because you don't want this? Fine, good, good. Right idea.
My ultimate is charging. I'm taking care. I will not waste this opportunity.
You're trying to prioritize the crew when you have the option to. That's fair. You didn't hit the boop. Who did? Was that Shakri? Oh yeah, your cream must have flashed and then rolled backwards. Nice. You're gonna look for an E opportunity here. Just went down. You could hit your E. No. Okay.
Step right.
What?
Clearing the area.
Why? Okay, that wasn't what your E was for. If you could have gotten an E here, you couldn't because Matrix was up. That would be beautiful because it knocks back Diva and Echo, and that's who you're most interested in keeping away because you want to delay this. You want to delay these guys from getting in because it gives you more time to chunk them down. And as we talked about, you will chunk the tanks down harder than Echo will. Plus, Echo is trying to get to you. You don't necessarily want to use your E if you're only going to get the Diva because again, you need it to either get you away from Echo or to keep Echo away from you. Usually you're using it to get yourself away from Echo. But here it would have had value if the Matrix was gone. I don't think you actually get a window. Thought she wants to res. Okay. Let's take a look.
Step.
Concussive Blast travels pretty fast. You don't need to pre-fire it to cancel this res. And you
Clearing
don't
the
want
area.
to, yeah, you don't need to pre-fire it to cancel the res at this distance. Reses aren't instant. You know, there is a portion where you can try to knock people away or eliminate them after the res has gone off and they still get the res, but you would have been able to boop that after she started the res if that's what you were worried about.
Time to read my APM.
This is not your time.
Привет.
Going for the stagger, good.
Nano boost almost ready.
Okay, I don't actually want you staring at this hard though, because I don't need you to be the one that gets the elimination. I'm a little more interested in exactly this. Like, you're one of the best heroes on your team at preventing them from coming in, at taxing them on their way in, and your team clearly has this baby diva handled. Like, she's not going to get an elimination or get her mech back if you don't pay attention to her. So I would much prefer that you're slugging these doors. Oh, look, Ball got in. Zen got to a place he shouldn't have. Like, this shouldn't have happened.
Bad guys.
60 seconds remaining.
Oh, she did get Mercy. Okay, well, thank you. She did get Mercy. She shouldn't. Like, and that's not your job to prevent, other than to give Mercy a getaway target, but that's whatever. That's funny. That's hilarious, in fact. Doesn't change my opinion on the matter, though.
It's high noon. Feeling powerful.
Fine. That's fine. You need to go for height. Why are you even letting this happen?
Walk it off.
You know that that's there. Go for flight. Change the angle of this. You will get more verticality off a shift than she will, unless she just goes straight up with it. Like, and if she goes straight up with it, that's to your benefit because it means she's not closing distance on you, which is what you're afraid of. So, like, you shift up here. I'm surprised that you just hang here. This is a shift up type thing, and then you try to keep her honest with a rocket or two as you drift your way over to here, where you can actually contribute to the battle. I mean, alternatively, if you want to E into this, I can live with that to change the angle. I just don't like that because it lets her collapse. It lets her create the concave. Yeah, this is why are you slow drifting away here? And now you have worse options. Now you can't shift. You can only E to get out. Like, I do not approve. Yeah, as we've covered a couple times, your win condition against these guys is you stay away from the Echo as long as you can while chunking them down. So, like, if the Echo is close, yes, you fight her, but she wasn't close enough to be scary yet, or she was close enough to start to be scary, and you shift, and then now she's, you throw a rocket or two at her while you drift, maybe you go over here, and then you go do your thing. Like, this was, you had more, you could have extended the poke phase, which is what you're looking to do.
30 seconds remaining. The payload has reached the checkpoint.
can hear her thrusters. You can see her foot. Where's our E? Yeah.
Clearing the way.
Routine activated.
Back online.
Yeah, you and your monkey are gonna dive together. This is fine.
Thanks for getting that.
Okay. Okay. Like, again, your job is to chunk people that aren't Echo. Once Echo actually gets this close, you do have to fight her. Like, that's unfortunately just reality. You chose to dive her, and that was fine. It was a 3.5 person dive with your Zarya bubble, your Winston, you, and your Mercy. Then these guys show up, and I get it, and you want to hit the sleeping target. I'm going to be okay with this. But you're, of course, going to get eliminated by the Echo.
My team needs me.
60 seconds remaining.
Mercy's trolling ya.
The payload is approaching its destination.
Okay. Right idea.
Get back.
Oh boy.
Justice reigns from above.
Yeah, I don't really mind that. Holding point wasn't your job there, and you had a ball right there. Okay. Okay, so mostly it looked like you understood your win condition. I think you got a little too aggressive on your holding of blue box. I know that you didn't do a good enough job of shifting away from the Echo on the last fight on second. Couple things like that. Again, on offense, we saw more, hey, understanding of your aerial cover a bit better. You drift pretty far from it at times. And we saw the understanding of when you want to use your angles. So, like, this is good when your team is here. This is good when your team is here. I'm still fighting for this. But once your team is here, we're going here. We don't need to be going here when our team is back here. But hey, we'll go back to this. So overtime round. This will be interesting. Let's see if comps adjust for real this time. They're gonna run the Zen Mercy now? Okay.
Not waste this opportunity.
But the Ball Diva.
Get back.
So they're going like old school hybrid now. The Gauntlet poke dive comp, except with the McCree variant. Okay. Okay, you're gonna have to E away. No. No. Why are you still here? You don't want to let this Echo fight you at close range, where she gets to focusing beam and shenanigans. Okay, now you pivot back to the McCree. The Echo's plenty far away, you don't care anymore, you pivot right back to the McCree.
30 seconds remaining.
You're gonna have to drop, yeah.
Clearing the area. Where does it go?
10 seconds remaining.
Aggressive dive, but you guys are all inning. I don't mind it. Yeah. How was your timing?
Overtime.
Yeah, you guys hit it as a synchronized dive. You don't have bubble, but this is a all-in risky play that could definitely work. I don't have an issue. Okay.
rains from above.
Okay.
Justice rains from above.
What?
Justice reigns
You
from
can
above.
turn away from a target before it's fully eliminated with barrage, because your barrage missiles, of course, have travel time. But you turned away too early on this target. If this was who you started on, you turned away too early on this target, and we can tell that. This target isn't receiving extreme amounts of healing or anything. You turned away too early to, I guess, get these that are lower health that you think maybe you can get, but like... if that was the case, you always knew that this was full health, so it's weird that you started over here. Yeah, there's matrix to work around, etc. But this was weird target selection. You start over here, don't finish this, slide over here. Now this is weak because you were getting it while you were getting this. Let's try to get our limbs. Again, you don't have to stay on them till they're 0 because your rockets have a lot of travel time, but this wasn't long enough. If I wanted to dive there, wouldn't it be better to not go from behind? You mean when you went in here? No, this was fine. You want your dives to come from multiple angles, and your Winston was coming from here, your Diva was coming from here, and your dive from here. Yes, it meant like, hey, I'm a little exposed in how this happened, but it's important enough that your dive happens from multiple angles. It makes your dive stronger, that it was going to be worth it. Would it have been better if like Diva had dove from here? Yes, it would have been better if Diva had been the one to come from here, and you had done more of a, okay, this is my dive thing. Sure, but given the overtime situation, given that you decided to come through here, your tanks were already up here, that I wasn't going to be critical of that. But yes, ideally it would be more Diva dives from up here, you go in a more straight direction here, etc.
It's high noon.
Round 3. Round 3. Complete.
Okay, it's going to be tough. You guys didn't really get it past the point that matters.
Ready for battle.
And now we're finishing with some Ash. Okay.
30 seconds.
A little more time to get ready.
Doable though, because you can hold that point that you didn't get it past for ages as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Follow my lead.
I'll take care of it.
Here it comes.
Rally help! Forward shield!
Now who's the better shot?
Beacon tunnel, fine. Don't make yourself too accessible to the dive. Good. Look up, look up. Okay.
Smoke 'em out of there.
60 seconds. 60 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can do that to get there, but I really feel you'd have been better off just coach gunning yourself back. I don't like all this hang time. Yeah, you'd have been hit by the pile drive if you did that, and you'd have still had hang time, but you have hang time here, and it would not have been a very damaging pile drive if you'd sent yourself this way with the weapon. Okay.
You're going to
That one was fine. No, I'm not worried. Not really an Ash review anyway. Okay, so that's the end of that. Okay, so let's get a Pharah screen. See, we're playing Pharah primarily here.
We're all soldiers now.
That's not Pharah either. That's Pharah. Okay, so couple things that we could cover. We covered most of them, and I think you saw at least half of this review live. But what we're looking at really in terms of our understanding is, hey, I think you conceptually understand that when you were playing against this echo variant of the mirror, you needed to do what you could to reasonably stay away from the echo while chunking down the ground game, and you mostly did a good job of that with some mistakes. And then it just becomes an understanding of, hey, let's use our aerial cover better when we're threatening some of this stuff. Let's be willing to use our boop in such ways that it, gets us out of there, gets the echo out of there as well. Let's understand we can stay away better here. And then I really think you just lost way too much time on third. You guys had such a good first and second push, and you just lost so much time on third here. On your first attack that you didn't have to. Like, this was the sort of thing where, again, from here, this was good, but you want to be pressuring out this. This is where you do your work. You do not have to drift out here to fight. Drifting out here to fight is silly because then they can see you. Do your fighting from here unless you actually go in for a real dive, which isn't what you were doing. Don't do the I want to be a little closer type thing. This, we don't distract 4 people here while our team is back here. Like, I know I'm really harping on this part of the map, but this, you lost so much time here and you didn't have to. So adjust this, understand how your angles change based on where the fight is happening. Like this is the important part we have to get rid of, we have to win for our team. Now this, after we've won this for our team and our team gets to here and has control of this themselves, this is the important part we win for our team. Once we're finishing third, we go, hey, I can fight from here, I can fight from here, but I'm not fighting from here where both sides can get me. I'm looking to fight from one or the other where I can use them, etc. So, nothing world beating there. We could talk about your barrages. Your barrages weren't amazing. You had the barrage on the Anna in there that you really didn't need. You had the barrage. Did you ever get? Yeah, I do think you got one barrage that was a good trade, but most of your barrages weren't very good. They rarely, it's hard. I get it. Barrage tends to be a, hey, it's a good barrage if you can trade out multiple people for your own life, and that's fine. But you guys need to be. You have a Zarya. You have the Zarya. Make sure you're actually coordinating the barrage play. Like, you can do counter dives where they're going to come in on you, they're going to come in on your tanks, on your Anna, etc. And you can set up more around the fact that your Anna is vulnerable, is someone that their tanks, their Winston Diva, Echo are going to want to come in on. You can set up more for that and intentionally hold your projected bubble for peel dive barrage plays. That's one way that you can get more value out of it because you'll have a bunch of tanks that you get to chunk, and even if they DM over you, you have your bubble, etc. So I'd really like for you to look for ways to get more value out of that than you did, which is going to be after their tanks have used their movement cooldowns. You E into them, get bubbled, and barrage them is going to be the easiest way to get big value out of that. Anyway, if anyone has questions, go ahead and throw them up in chat now. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what the rates look like, see what sort of promos, events we have going on, all that good stuff. Do I see anything question-wise? I will give it a moment. Doesn't look like I do. Okay, I'm going to be taking a break. I expect I'll be back later this evening. I'll upload something even if I don't stream, but I think I should be able to fit a stream in later today. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.